Hi, my name's Holly from athomewithholly.com. Today I am going to go through a little book haul with you guys. This is not actually, I shouldn't say little, it's a pretty big book haul. Since we stopped homeschooling for the year, or I shouldn't even say since we stopped homeschooling for the year, a little bit beforehand, we weren't really using our library very much. The weather was kind of weirdly cold, and this is unheated, and I didn't want to run the heater. So I just kind of am throwing all these books out here before I put them into our library. So I've got a big stack, and it's from a couple different places. I like to go yard sailing with my kids, so we've got some books from yard sales. Another place that we go kind of frequently, thrift stores. We like thrift stores. So some of these are from thrift stores and yard sales. And then one of my favorite places to buy books online, Better World Books. I placed an order there, and it's mixed in with this stuff. So as I randomly grab from different piles, I will be trying to remember where I got them from, but I won't know for sure. But I'll kind of give you an idea of where I got them, what I paid for them, and then I have a pile that I got from my friend who is, she's no longer homeschooling. She said, I have a bunch of books. If you want to look through them, you can take what you want. And so we took some books from her. So I'll show you that. Mixed in with this is also some books for me. Some cookbooks and some other types of books. So I will share those with you as well. But I think we'll just get started, and I will share with you everything I have. And you'll have to excuse, I know you can't see very much of it, but this whole room is a catastrophe, which is usually what happens by the end of the year, is my kids pull books out and then they pile them, and then I have to put them back where they belong. It's not that they don't mean to put them away. It's just kind of sometimes I forget where they go, and I'd rather they just put them in a pile, and then I'll put them where they go so I know where they go. And other times I pull the book out for them, so they have absolutely no idea which shelf I got the book off of. I tried to implement a system where we put, like, if we pull a book out, we'll put like a bookmark in, and then the bookmarks would get lost in between the books. So that didn't work. I don't have a system quite yet. And my kids are just not quite old enough to really remember yet. I have an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old, and I don't know, they're not quite into organization yet. So this whole room is chaos. That's why I'm not showing the whole room. I'll give a tour once I clean it up, which is what I'm probably going to do some point this week, because I like to refresh the room, go through when I get these books organized. I will scan them into our library system so that they can be checked out of our library, so we can keep track of the books that we read. That's how I keep track of which books my kids read. They have a library card for our library, which I thought I had one real close by, but I don't see it right now. But they each have a library. Oh, wait, hold on. Here we are. They each have a little library card that they can scan. And then that library card will keep track of what books they've checked out, so that I can look at the end of the year and see all the books that they've read. So that just kind of helps us. And this system that I use is Libib, and I think that's great. They have a free version, but they also have a paid version, and I use the paid version so that I can make book library cards and check out books. So that's why I pay. And plus, I feel like it's such a good service, I should be paying for it. So I understand if like budgets are tight with homeschool families, so if it's not something you can afford, the free version is excellent. I feel guilty and I have to pay for it because I feel like it's such a good system, especially with how many books we have. We have quite a few books. So anyway, without further ado, let me stop talking and get into the book haul. And again, like I said, I'll try and remember where I got the books from, but I cannot say for sure that I will remember every single place as I go through. Again, I will do my best, but if I don't remember, I'll let you know I don't remember, and I will just keep going. So the first thing that I have is actually a series of books that I found at a thrift store, and it is the illustrated classic editions of several different books. They are all just so tiny and so cute, and I just thought, ooh, this is perfect for like my 8 and 10-year-old who maybe aren't ready to read the full versions. I don't remember if I read, oh yes, it is an adapted version. So it's like a smaller abridged version for young readers. And again, they're probably not quite ready for the regular editions of these books necessarily, but these books just look so colorful, so cute. I thought they would grab their attention. They're just, I don't know, they're just so, I love them. They're so cute and adorable. But there's a lot of really classic titles in here. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. This is an Edgar Allan Poe Tales of Mystery and Terror, which I was real big into Edgar Allan Poe when I was a teenager, so I'm probably going to read through that one again. This one is Mark Twain, a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court. I think there's another Mark Twain in here. I don't see it, so that must be the only one. The Man in the Iron Mask, the Count of Monte Cristo. So there's two. Alexandra Dumas in there. Captains Courageous and Mutiny on the HMS Bounty. So we got some good titles in here. My oldest son has already read The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I actually really, really like that book. I really like classic books. I feel like they're classics for a reason. It's just like, I feel like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde starts real slow, but then it builds up and it's like so intriguing. That's why I like it. So I think my kids will like it too, hopefully. Again, if they can get past a little bit of a slow build, but that's what I think makes the story great, because it still does manage to hold your attention as you're learning about the characters. So this one is, these were 45 cents at a thrift store. Each one of them cost me 45 cents. I got the whole set. Super cute. Love them. Think my kids will love them. Again, I am a pretty big fan of the classics just because I think part of it is they're just readily available, and when you like to read, like, you can get them for free on Kindle and stuff like that. So I ended up reading them a lot, and just I don't know, I just enjoy them. I don't necessarily seek out new books, so maybe I just don't have an expanded palette of books, because classics are free on Kindle. So maybe that's part of my problem. But I do read newer books. I don't know, something about classic stories is just, there's so many of them. So anyway, this is Great American Short Stories. It is also a book that I got not from a thrift store. This is one I got from my friend Jess. Actually, I'll just go through the whole pile. She, again, was getting rid of stuff because it's the end of her homeschool era as a homeschool mom. So she's got quite a few books that she was giving away. So Fantastic Frogs was one I almost bought literally like 2 or 3 days before, but it was a little bit more than I wanted to pay for a book that I wasn't sure I had. It turned out I didn't have it, and I was regretting that I didn't get it, but then she had it in her pile, so I grabbed that one. This one is Cheyenne Rose, which is in the mid-1800s, and it's called the Magic Attic Club, which I've never heard of. I don't know. It's sounds kind of like magic, like they go up into the attic and there's a trunk full of beautiful outfits and a mirror that transports them on wonderful adventures. So that's what happens in the Magic Attic, and apparently this adventure transports them to the mid-1800s. So that's kind of cool. I don't know, it kind of gave me, it seemed like it would be like an American Girl vibe type book, and so we have those to kind of help bridge some fiction, nonfiction, history together. So I grabbed that one. It sounded interesting. Then we've got Horrible Geography, Odious Oceans, which I think will be fun. My kids really like the horrible histories. And then this one is Oh, here's The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, another classic that I like. This one is The United States Constitution, a graphic adaptation, which I thought looked interesting. My oldest son is not a big reader, but if I hand him a graphic novel, he just eats it up. So that was definitely one that I wanted to grab. This one is The Mostly True Adventures of Homer P. Fig, and I grabbed it because it had a Newbery honor on it. That was pretty much the only reason. I don't know much about it other than it's based in Gettysburg, which we do not live very far from. So I thought, that's kind of fun. And then maybe we can read that before we take a trip to Gettysburg. Gettysburg is probably about 2 hours from us. We have a Getting to Know the World's Greatest Artists. Mike, I'm going to say this wrong. Venezia. I really like his books. I have a whole bunch of them. So this one, just to add to the collection, I grabbed it. We also have a lot of Seymour Simon. Science books. This one is on mussels. I believe we have sharks and volcanoes, and a couple other ones, but this is just one that I think will be good for when we do anatomy and physiology. My kids really like the Wonder Why series. So we have Wonder Why the Sea is Salty. We saw that. We picked that one up, especially for my daughter who loves the Wonder Why series. A box turtle at Long Pond. I thought this one looked really pretty as far as illustrations go. And we actually have come across box turtles quite a few times on hikes. So I thought it'd just be a really relevant book for us. The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. That one is another classic I found in her pile and thought, oh, I'm going to grab that. This is John James Audubon Wildlife Artist biography. So we have quite a few biographies. I don't know if we have many on John James Audubon. Besides, I have a couple pieces of his artwork in like a little collection book. I don't know that it's a biography though, so I grabbed this. I know I have John Muir, and I know I have Henry David Thoreau. I also have a few on Rachel Carson, but I was not sure how many I had on John James Audubon, so we grabbed that. This one is The Bronze Pen. We got it because there's a goose on it. My daughter really likes birds. So chickens, turkeys, geese, swans, she's into it. She saw that. She wanted it. This one is The Little Ships. And it's about the heroic rescue at Dunkirk in World War II. My oldest son is really big into World War II, so we grabbed this as kind of a bridge between my oldest and my youngest. And then this one is Ready to Use Medieval Illustrations. So we are currently in history in the Middle Ages. So we got this to kind of just have some stuff to use when we're doing projects. I thought it had some really cool illustrations inside. I don't quite know how we're going to use it, but we will figure it out. Okay, that is everything I got from her. And so moving on to a new pile. And again, I'm not 100% sure which ones are from Better World Books, but a big indicator for me is usually the Better World Books have this little tag on them. So this one is A Little History of the World. And I saw this on quite a few different forums for Charlotte Mason homeschoolers recommending this book. We have quite a few history books, but I put this in my cart at Better World Books because it was in the bargain section, and I thought, well, it might be a great reference if it's so highly recommended. So I bought it, and here it is. This one I also believe, yes, this one also came from Better World Books. What Was the Underground Railroad? We have a back and forth love of the What Was series. Some of them are really interesting to read. Others I find a little dry. I don't know whether this one is going to be an intriguing one or not, but I can't imagine that it wouldn't hurt to have it in our library, even if it is a little dry. But again, it kind of goes back and forth. This one it's in really good condition. It has a couple folds in the back, but overall, I'm glad that I purchased it. But you can oftentimes find the What Was series in thrift stores too. They're not hard to come by, but this one happened to be in the bargain bin as well, so I grabbed it. Also from Better World Books, I got Tales from the Odyssey, Book 1 and Book 2. So these are Mary Pope Osborne. She writes the Magic Treehouse series. These are books that I do have on Kindle, but I like to have physical copies, and these were, again, like $4 or less usually when I buy from Better World Books. I don't go over $5 very often when I'm buying books from Better World Books. So finding these at that price, I thought I'm going to grab these, and then we'll have them and we can read them wherever we want. And it doesn't have to be tied to a Kindle. Our Kindle is not a paperweight, so reading it outside is not always super easy. The reason for that is because the paperweight is more expensive than the cheapy ones that I bought. So if we could have a paperweight, I'd probably prefer the paperweight because I could read it outside, but it's more expensive to get the paperweight one, so I did not buy that one. At Christmas time, usually Kindles go on sale, and so probably every 5 or so years I might buy a Kindle if it needs replaced, but for the most part they've lasted us pretty well. And we do use them regularly for books online that we haven't been able to find elsewhere. We have we had an Audible subscription for a long time. We have many books on Audible, so we even use it for that, not just for Kindle books. This book right here is Could You Survive in Prehistoric Times? A You Choose, which is really cool. So not only are you learning about prehistoric times, but you're also getting to kind of create your own adventure here. Sorry, I'm on the floor and my foot is going numb. Trying to gracefully reposition. It didn't work out so well. Anyway, there are other books in the series: Cretaceous period, Jurassic period, Triassic, Ice Age. This one was $2.50 at a thrift store. This one was 50 cents at a yard sale. This is Constellations. It is a Janice Van Cleve. We have several Janice Van Cleve books in our collection. They are some of our favorites because they go really, really well with a lot of our studies. So this one's on Constellations. This is called Steal Away Home. It is a book about a 12-year-old girl who finds something in her house, a hidden room containing a human skeleton, and it leads her down a road where she discovers her house was on the Underground Railroad. So she is trying to figure out what did she find, what's the mystery, who is this person. Anyway, this was 50 cents at a yard sale as well. This one is a Better World Books. What Was the Battle of Gettysburg? If you can't tell, we're probably going to visit Gettysburg sometime in the next year or so. I don't anticipate getting to it in history anytime soon, but it's just so close, and we haven't done it since the kids were born. Like, I haven't been to Gettysburg. It's fun. I like going to Gettysburg. We just haven't done it, and I don't know why. It's close. Like I said, 2 hours away. I'm not sure why I haven't done it. Just thought it would be fun to read some things before we do. Okay. That pile over here. Again, this is in no kind of order of any sort. It's just piles. As I brought books home, I put them down in piles. It's everything everywhere. This is not a book, but this is something I got, I believe, for $1 or $2 at a yard sale. $2. It is a dinosaur fossil dig kit. Never opened. My son likes to dig for fossils. We've gotten this kit offline before, so finding it for $2 made me really happy. Okay, let's bring this pile over. All right, this is, I think, 25 cents I got this for. It's The Whipping Boy. It is a Newbery, I think it's a winner. I don't think it's an, yeah, I think it's a Newbery winner. Again, nonfiction, fiction, history tie in here. Oh, you know what? No, this was at a yard sale where I got a bunch of different books, and all they did was ask for a donation. So it was a library having a yard sale of used books, and they just asked for a donation. So we gave a donation in exchange for, I believe, this whole pile of books. So let me just go through the whole pile of books real quick. Again, The Whipping Boy is one that I got. We got some Dear God books. I don't really know much about them other than it seemed to answer some questions that kids can have. And my kids sometimes have a lot of questions. So we grabbed these, and hopefully inside they are nice and relevant and help answer some questions. This is a Jean Craighead George book, the next one that I'm going to show you, and it's called There's an Owl in the Shower. My kids, some of them liked There's a Tarantula in My Purse, others did not, so I don't know how they're going to like this. Sometimes I have all three of my kids read the same book. My kids' ages are 8, 10, and 12. So my 8-year-old tends to like these books. He's very much into nature. My 10-year-old hates reading. He'll do it. It's not like it's a fight. He will read, but it's not his favorite. I think he loses himself in reading a lot, where he loses interest, he loses his place, he doesn't retain a lot, and it's just he's more of a kinesthetic learner. And it's not a problem, but again, graphic novels, since they have the visuals, seem to hold his attention more. So I do try and lean into that when I can. But I only got one of these, so all three of them won't read it. Probably just my youngest. Especially if it's an owl. My daughter may also want to read it. She's, again, big into birds. Don't know why. We have chickens. I think that's probably the why. She's very fond of our chickens, and owls she finds very cute. So There's an Owl in the Shower may very well make her happy. If You Were an Ant is another book that we got there. It is super cute, but it's definitely an older book. So I'm hoping my kids will be gentle with it. Most of the time they are, but this is from 1973. So it survived. Hopefully it survives my kids. This is A True Patriot, the Journal of William Thomas Emerson, a Revolutionary War Patriot, Boston, Massachusetts. These are the type of books that my oldest really likes. War books, history books, drama, peril. Those are the things he's into, if it's not a graphic novel. Another one in the same series, it looks like On Enemy Soil, the Journal of James Edmund Pease, a Civil War Union soldier, Virginia, 1863. So this is one that I think he'll also enjoy. They also like Adventure Time. I found them an Adventure Time book. It was from that same library sale. This one I don't know much about. It just looked like it would be a graphic novel. I gotta look at it more because it seems like a spy. Yeah, I think this one might be one I pull. I just grabbed this because I thought it was a It looked like a spy type thing, but I don't think this is one for my kids. So this is probably a mess up, but that's okay. I paid for it. It's not like we didn't give a donation for this, so I will just redonate this, and this looks more like it could be for an adult book because it definitely says, oh, there's a cute little teddy bear sticker in there, so I don't know. I'm going to have to read more about it. We're going to put that off to the side. This one's a Snoopy book. I don't know. I did not pick this one up, so I don't know which one of my kids picked this up, but they obviously saw Snoopy, put them on there, or put it on the pile. I picked up Bunnicula because I loved Bunnicula when I was growing up. I thought it was so funny. I love the characters in Bunnicula. I thought they were just so much fun. So I picked this Bunnicula meets Edgar Allan Poe up. I don't think I've ever read this one, so it's interesting. I certainly think I'll probably be reading this one aloud to my kids just for fun. Another American, oh, I guess the other one was an American Girl, was The Magic Attic. So this is an American Girl. This is Marie Grace Gardner. She is, let's see if it tells me what year in here. Uh, 1853. So this one is about New Orleans in 1853. And it also looks like it ties in with another character, Cecile. So that's very interesting. So we'll have to look for more of these books because, again, I just think they're great history tie-ins to bridge between just interest reading and some, like, I don't know, just to make it interesting to learn about the time period and get a feel for what it might be like living in that time when we read books like that. Magic Tree House is another one of them. I don't think it gives a great, like, feel for what it was like. I think Dear America type books probably give a little bit better of a feel, but they also do provide some educational value while keeping my kids' attention. So those are the type of books, the American Girl books, Dear History, or Dear America, and Magic Tree House, Dear America, and American Girl. Those are some book series that I do collect. Oh, and I Survived is another one that my kids really like. That kind of just, again, is more fun reading, but it can tie into the time period that we're learning about, or maybe the science that we're learning about when it comes to I Survived, surviving volcanoes, if we're learning about tectonic plates or volcanoes. So again, it's just stuff that's more of a fun read that ties into what we're learning about. And I like to do that. I don't like to make my kids read things where they're just learning. I want them to read stuff where it's an exciting story. Maybe there's some peril like my son likes. There's some choose your own adventure books like that. It's just something to kind of remove the educational component of learning and I'm looking off to my other books to try and figure out what other series I might have in there, but I can't see that far. I don't know why I'm trying to look so hard when I can't see it. But anyway, those are why I like those books. So this is What Causes Acid Rain. I saw this in that pile of books at the library and I thought, ooh, that's interesting. We like to have a bunch of different science books because, again, it's so helpful when I don't have to go to the library and worry about returning books. And if somebody has a question, like, we just go to our own library. We have a ton of books. We can answer lots of questions within it. The next book we got because my daughter was very interested in a book at 2nd and Charles, which is a very large bookstore near us in Harrisburg. And she wanted this book, but it was like $7, and I hate paying any more than $5 for used books. That's how like I justify having as many books as I do, is I make sure I don't spend more than $5 on a book, and it has to be worth that $5. Like, it has to be something that ties in with what we're doing for homeschool. Like, it cannot be just any old $5 book. If it's a regular like fun reading book, it usually has to be under $1 if I buy it. This, again, was just like a haul from by donation. So I thought, okay, this book is very similar to what she wanted. I'm going to grab this book for her. The book that she wanted was on Abraham Lincoln. I don't know why she's interested in Abraham Lincoln. I'm not mad that she's interested in Abraham Lincoln. I'm just not sure what the reason was that she wanted the book. She's never expressed interest in learning about Abraham Lincoln before. So I got her this Lincoln's Grave Robbery book. The one that she wanted was on him and the assassination plot. So I just thought, well, this one could be kind of satisfying that same like curiosity for her. So this one is, again, Lincoln's Grave Robbers, and it is just one of those books that I got from the library for donation. This is ABCs of Nature. I love Reader's Digest books like this. I don't know what it is about Reader's Digest books of this era, but they're so intriguing and filled with so much good information. And I love this era. The illustrations are great. Again, it is just like the best book when you can find a Reader's Digest around this era. This is from it's called a Family Answers book. And it's divided into parts: the world itself, the world of plants, the animal world, and many worlds of life. So talking about like ecosystems and stuff like that. So I just think this is a great base for a whole science study for the year. Not that we're necessarily going to use it for studying science this year, but it was just a very rich, diverse book with 4 different topics that I think could make a great base for each semester. And you could, use this as a spine for a whole year of science. I'm not sure that's what we're going to do. We may end up doing that this year. I'm not, again, 100% sure. The only thing I know for certain is my daughter really wants to learn about chickens this year. So, again, just very big fan of Reader's Digest. This is kids' questions about the Bible. And again, my kids just, I don't know, they've gotten very curious about things from the Bible recently. So question and answer books are just helpful. This is The Planet Earth, a World Book Encyclopedia of Science. It's only one, unfortunately. There is a whole series of these. This is only volume 4. But I still think it had a lot of great information. It came from a local school district. It was a middle school book, I'm going to assume, in their library. And I don't know where it got separated from its friends, but this is all about the Earth, talking about the structure on the surface, the atmosphere, the Earth's current, or oceans, ocean currents, waves, tides, sea ice, geology and landscaping. So I didn't think it would be bad to have even just this one volume, because there's still a ton of information packed in here about Earth itself. And I don't know exactly how old it is, but I'm hoping that it has tectonic plates in here. I hope it's not too old. 1992, so we should have tectonic plates in here. that is a big problem with, sometimes a big problem with getting older science books, is that the information is out of date. So I do kind of pause when I find older science books, because the information can be out of date. There could be new information that has been discovered since these kind of books were published. So I'm just cautious, and I like to make sure I'm purchasing as new of science books as I can when it comes to certain subjects. Like, like I said, tectonic plates were not necessarily a well-believed theory for a long time, and we all know tectonic plates are a real thing now. So, like, it's just, again, it looks like an older book, but sometimes I can't judge how old books are when they don't have a nice cover on them or a dust jacket. This one looks like it's missing a dust jacket. Like, it should have a dust jacket. And I think that just makes this book look older than it probably is. But then again, I still think 1992 wasn't that long ago. So maybe that's part of my problem. But I digress. Tectonic plates are a well-established thing. This book has information about that, knowing it's from 1992. There's information about dinosaurs that probably, if this book had information about dinosaurs, that would be outdated. That's more along the lines of what I would be concerned with, is the information that's the newest in certain fields. So geology and that sort of thing, I don't think we have too much to worry about. Oh, here we have another Bunnicula. This one I actually paid full price for. This is a Bunnicula graphic novel. And yes, it is $12.99. It says on the back, and I paid $12.99 for that. This, I just think my son would have really liked. I couldn't find it anywhere. Used, not on Better World Books, not on Thrift Books, not on Amazon. So I did pay full price at my local Target. And again, it's just, I feel like it's so much easier for my son to read the graphic novels and enjoy the graphic novels. And while I'd like for him to read a book that isn't a graphic novel every now and then, keeping him reading is more my goal than keeping him reading this kind of book over this kind of book. It's not that I think a graphic novel is a bad thing. I still think his brain can use the enrichment of this kind of reading as well. So graphic novels are not bad. I'm not saying they're not bad. I'm just saying that still sometimes you should probably train your brain to read stuff like this, because I think it will help you to be able to understand and read a book that does not have a bunch of pictures in it. And again, it's more of I want his brain to still be able to handle something like this and practice on something like this, because there are books out there that he may need to read for his job, for if he goes to college. And I don't want him to struggle with that. So this is feeding his brain. This is keeping him loving books and not wanting to stop reading books. So that's kind of my thought process on those. This is Girls Who Changed the World, 10 Girls Who Changed the World. It has just 10, like, Christian, I think this is Christian leading, yeah, like keepers. This was $2 at a yard sale, I believe, but it also has a sticker on the back that is from Better World Books. So I'm not 100% sure if I got it from Better World Books or I paid $2 at a yard sale. I don't know. Either way, this book is about 10 girls who helped in the Christian world by doing acts of service for people, helping the homeless, missionary. I don't know. I don't know much about this one. It just intrigued me and I picked it up. So I honestly can't go into much more detail than that. It looked cool. And I don't even know if I realized it was Christian when I picked it up. I think I just thought it was a book about girls out there doing cool things. So maybe I should not impulse buy as much, but I still think it looks like a good book. I'm not saying just because it's Christian I shouldn't have got it, but I thought it was like, I have a couple of these that are science books, and I think that's what I thought it was. It was a science book, and it is definitely not a science book. It is a Christian book, which is still not a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It just wasn't what I expected it to be, and I think I impulse bought this without reading the back, which is probably a $2 yard sale book. So this one definitely came from a thrift store. It is an American Girl story. It's a history mystery from 1895. Ghostlight on Graveyard Shoal. My kids do like ghost stories, so this one intrigued me both because it said Ghostlight and it was an American Girl mystery. So I thought that sounded cool. So I grabbed it. And again, if it was at a yard sale, probably 50 cents. Also from a yard sale, more than likely, Ocean Animals Collection. It has 4 different books inside this one. Sea otters, manatees, sea turtles, and weird sea creatures. This is levels 1 and 2, so it's just easy reading. It's just quick facts. Sometimes I like to just have these around for simple learning. It's not that my kids are at level 1 just starting to read, or level 2 reading independently. They can read chapter books, but sometimes these books are a little bit more appealing just because they have pictures in them, quick facts, quizzes, maps showing migration. There's a lot of information in this, even though there might not be a lot of words. It's a lot of visuals, so it takes some pressure away from the brain when they're trying to absorb information, because still at their age, reading chapter books, they don't always necessarily absorb the information because their brain is still just trying to process through the words, and that's okay. But these books are a lot easier for them. They can process the words a lot faster. They're not using all that energy on necessarily working through a sentence or trying to figure out what a word is saying if they're not familiar with the word. This lets them learn a lot easier. Again, with lots of cool things like the maps and the quizzes and just some cool visuals like that. Very low tax on the brain. So I like these for that reason. It's just something that they don't have to worry about. These books I really like. This is definitely from Better World Books. These are called Mistakes That Worked. There is other titles in this that are similar. Accidents May Happen, 50 Inventions Discovered by Mistakes. And there's How They Died, which might not be the same in the series, but they're just like interesting books that give like, not necessarily like we need them for history or anything like that, just a fun read that is also educational. And if they're ever on some kind of game show, maybe it'll help them with answers. But it's about 40 familiar inventions and how they came to be. Dozens of objects that are used almost every day have surprisingly haphazard beginnings. Like Scotchgard was discovered when a scientist spilled part of the experiment on her shoe. Potato chips were first cooked by a chef who was furious when a customer complained that his fried potatoes were not thin enough. So it's It's just silly stuff that might not necessarily tie into history, but it's just fun. This one, also from Better World Books, The Little House Cookbook, Frontier Foods from Laura Ingalls Wilder's classic stories. So this is to tie in with Little House on the Prairie books, and I just thought it would be a cool thing to have as we read through the series. It's got different things, different recipes in it. It has different sections inside of it. Foods from the woods, wilds, and waters, foods from tilled fields, foods from gardens and orchards, food from the barnyard, and then thirst quenchers and treats. So it's just, I don't know, just neat, intrigued me. Saw it online, wanted to have it, and bought it. My Little Book of Burrowing Owls. This one is from a yard sale, and again, my daughter likes owls, saw that, got it for her. Another one from a yard sale or a thrift store, actually. This one came from a thrift store. This is The Girl Who Loved Wild Horses. It has I'm gonna mess up saying some of these things, and feel free to tell me I'm wrong in the comments, but Caldecott medal. It has a Caldecott medal. And so I thought, well, it must be pretty good then, because it won a medal. But I have a section of our library called Culture, and I forget what I have it titled, but basically learning about people from different cultural backgrounds, and this will go in there. I'm sorry, there is apparently a fire nearby because I'm hearing some sirens. It doesn't look like this is based on any kind of, like maybe this is a folklore of some kind. Yeah, this looks like it's a folk legend. Oh, Cultures and Folk Legends, I think is what I have it actually titled as. So that is where that book will go. This is from Better World Books. Again, I don't know how I have some of these books so mixed up, but I can tell from the tag it is from Better World Books. And this one is The Extraordinary Women of World War I. I got this one because my daughter is not into books of peril or anything like that, but learning about women I thought might intrigue her. This one is A Child's Introduction to the Night Sky, also from Better World Books, and I plan on doing some astronomy this year. That is part of my plan. I don't know for sure if it's going to happen, but it's part of my plan. I don't really have a solid plan for our next homeschool year yet. I have yet to sit down and plan it. The only thing I know for sure is we're continuing with where we left off with history. So science is something that I kind of plan every year based on interest and based on where they are from what they've learned before. Like if they've learned about something recently, I might not necessarily do it again for a while, but if they're ready to learn more about things, like we have done astronomy before, but I think that learning some more about astronomy and layering up some information that's more grade level appropriate for where they are now wouldn't be a bad idea. They are, again, they have learned about astronomy. It's probably been a good 3-4 years since we've learned anything about astronomy. And so I think it's probably time to go over something like that again and layer in some more grade appropriate learning. You know, we've just learned about the planets and maybe some basic constellations, that kind of thing. But my daughter has taken it upon herself to do her own research. And so she has learned a lot more about astronomy by reading books. So I don't know if I necessarily need to do this for her, but my other two children, she's taught me many things I did not know about astronomy, so I don't know. Maybe I'll let her teach it. This is from a thrift store, $2.99. It is David Macaulay pyramid book. We have several of his books, but we don't have any about pyramids. I believe the ones that we have are about medieval castles and maybe the Colosseum, if I remember right. I don't know. But it's all black and white, but they're great pictures. And they just give you a glimpse into cross cuttings of what, you know, these structures had. Lots of information about the building process and who would build the pyramids, what they were made out of. Just like, it's a very, very good living book. This one is a DK. This is Ouch, which is how your body makes it through a bad day. So talking about things like viruses, bacteria, if you get a parasite, if you break a bone, just about your body's natural defenses to help repair itself. And I thought this would be great for an anatomy, which we technically just did anatomy last year. So I shouldn't need this for a while, but again, my kids get curious sometimes, pull books off the shelf. I love to just have things on the shelf for them to look up themselves when they have questions. This is a you don't know much about. I have a lot of books from this series, and this one is about pilgrims. This one is a poetry book, and it is about the Underground Railroad, Under the Quilt of Night. I think that this one came from, if I remember right, thrift store. And at my thrift store, it's 50 cents for paperback and 99 cents for hardcover. This is Kidnapped, Robert Louis Stevenson. It is definitely an abridged version, but it's just an introduction to a classic, so I thought hopefully it'll keep my kids' attention. And again, I think that's from the same thrift store. I think everything that I have here is from that thrift store. This is Emma's Journal, the story of a colonial girl. It reminded me very much of an American Girl book, so I grabbed that. Welcome to Molly's World, which is definitely an American Girl book. Really like these. I have the Kristen's World and the Samantha's World, and I believe the Felicity's World in this series. So they have just a lot of real factual information in these versus the fictional world for the stories about the girls themselves. So again, great information. Oh my goodness, my leg is totally falling asleep now. I'm gonna great information about the World War II era, and I think something my daughter will be intrigued by. This is Discovering Whales and Dolphins. This is a series, this Discovering. It's a Troll Associates. I like the series. I think it's decently illustrated. It is maybe not as whimsical or as pretty as other illustrations, but it definitely is very nicely illustrated, and the information inside is concise and easy to read, and I just like these books. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, my leg is so asleep right now. This is Kaya's story collection from American Girl. This actually I had, but I lost in the pile of somewhere in my house, and then I found it. So I put it out to be re-cataloged because I took it out when I couldn't find it. And it had been kicked under a bed, I believe. This is a wildlife habitats, kids easy to create wildlife habitats book. Again, I think this comes from the same thrift store as all the others, so it would have been about 50 cents. This is Animals of the World. It's hardcover, so it would have been 99 cents. It is just part of a series, and no, it is not part of a series. It has these sections in the back. Sorry, I thought when I was reading the back was part of a series. There's a whole bunch of sections on simple animals, worms, snails, starfish, insects, and other arthropods, fish, amphibians and reptiles, birds, and mammals. So this would be great as a spine for learning about animals and different types of animals. And so I will move along. And then lastly, I'm just going to show you this book I got for me. I just got it for 79 cents. It's Family Recipes by Rachel Hollis. 79 cents. Got it at a thrift store. Super happy. That was at a different thrift store than the other books. I think that's the only one I got at that thrift store. I have 2 other piles, but we're working on an hour, so I think we're good. I think that if I spend any more time, this is going to be an 1.5 hour video, and I don't want that. So maybe I will go through the other 2 piles in a separate video if you enjoy this. And I hope that you did enjoy this, because again, it's just, this is how I maintain my library. As the kids kind of grow out of smaller books, I do pull them out, donate them, or give them away to family or friends that have, age appropriate for those books. So as my kids grew out of the first level readers, we've made room for chapter books by switching those out. So again, it's not like I have a huge house. My house is 1,200 square feet. We just have this sun porch. It's enclosed. It's protected from the weather. It's not, again, heated. So during colder months, we have to heat it to be out here, and I just didn't feel like heating it the last couple months as we were finishing homeschooling. And so now it needs a good clean, and I will definitely tour you through the homeschool room again, but I just wanted to kind of share with you this homeschool book haul, and so you could see what we got and before I put it all away. So I hope you enjoyed, and thank you, and have a good day.